Tom Jackson, Joe Theismann. We'll hear from Andrea Kramer and Dan Patrick at the stadium. Bob Lee in Bristol to bring you up to date on the rest of the day in sports. And believe it or not, there were some other things to talk about. But let's cut right to the chase. New York, New York. Would they be singing that song a la Frank Sinatra for the Giants? This is how we start a game day. Or would they be singing Fool for the City by Foghat in honor of the guys in upstate New York who come from the smaller town of Buffalo? It was the closest Super Bowl ever. It was very possibly the best Super Bowl game ever. The silver anniversary Super Bowl at Tampa Stadium came out sterling silver. No question about it. And it all got set at the Big Sombrero, Tampa Stadium, hosting its second Super Bowl. What a scene before the game. The flags, the Jets, the national anthem, a great show. And fittingly, two teams who were red, white, and blue. The Bills and the Giants faced off. Bills got the kick, but Marv Levy's team went 1, 2, 3 and out. Bill Parcells' Giants looking much more polished at the beginning of the game than the Bills. Jeff Hostetler finds Howard Cross on the play fake. Hostetler showing some pause to Mark Ingram for a first down. The Hoss and the Giants moving on their first possession. Phil Simms looking on from the sidelines. An 11-play, 58-yard drive results. Last week's hero, Matt Barr, early hero today, 28-yard field goal, 3-0 G-Man. Jim Kelly and the Bills come back, though, as you know, they do it quickly. Kelly goes deep to James Lofton, has the step, and Perry Williams tips the ball. But look at Lofton. Everson Walls saves a touchdown right there, but it goes down to the 7 in the hurry-up offense work.
Perry Williams here gets caught in single coverage. He tries. He does tip the ball away, and that tip, combined with the Walls tackle, saves a touchdown.
It did, and it ended up in a Scott Norwood field goal, 23 yards, 3-3 after one. Joe, the Bills wanted to rattle the Hoss today.
They did. They really wanted to. Well, watch the screen here. It comes from Kirby Jackson on the outside. You see the corner blitz? He and Cornelius Bennett nail him. Now, it's important to remember that Hostetler kept his confidence after that.
That's right, because he really had to keep his confidence after Dr. Sack. Leon Easter Seals nails Hostetler. Looked for a while, the Hoss wouldn't get up. Leonard Marshall knocked Montana out last week, took 3 steps, a blatant roughing the passer call against Jim Kelly. Kelly gets the Bills going on another drive, hitting his favorite receiver, Andre Reed. But watch what happens to Reed. Nailed by Mark Collins. He would remember that hit all game long. 2 plays later, Kelly to Thurman Thomas, who was marvelous. Finally, he is thrown down by Carl Banks, had to leave the game for one play. Later, Kelly to Reed on the crossing pattern. The no-huddle Bills pick up another first down. Then he checks off to the tight end, Keith McKellar, in the flat. Bulls inside the 10-yard line. Bill Parcells' defense in a state of confusion. 12-play, 80-yard drive capped off by Don Smith. 10-3 Buffalo in the second.
Here you see Gary Reasons in the middle of the field, number 55. He does a good job of filling the hole, and the fullback Mueller does a good job of taking him out.
Of filling Reasons. So Parcells very concerned. They're backed up near their own end zone. And Hostetler's going to pass. Watch what happens to the deep back. He collides with the feet of O.J. Anderson. Bruce Smith is there before he can escape. It's a safety. Last team to get a safety in the Super Bowl was the Giants against Denver. It's now 12-3 Buffalo.
And even if Hostetler had not stumbled, I think Bruce Smith was going to get this safety. He blows by Jumbo Elliott here and Otis Anderson. He made it look easy, Joe.
Yeah, but the thing you got to look at is watch what happens to Hostetler. He trips over O.J.'s foot. Notice, watch the left side of your screen. Bruce Smith grabs for the ball. Hostetler, using his presence of mind, keeps it in, doesn't fumble the ball.
So it's 12-3. The Bills couldn't move after that, had a chance to put the game away. And the Giants, with a few minutes to go in the half, get O.J. Anderson. Not going to go for 18 yards. Then, Haas, play action. Mark Ingram into Bills territory. Then, look at that little Meggett run in the misdirection. He goes for 15 yards. The Giants moving the ball when it looked like they were in deep trouble. 3rd and 7. Howard Cross, again, a big reception, dives for the first down. Bills defense can't stop the Giants. On 3rd and 10, Stephen Baker beats Nate Odoms, the same play that Haas made a couple weeks ago against the Bears. Touchdown, just 25 seconds to go, 12-10. The Giants trail by only a deuce.
You said it, Chris. We've seen it 3 weeks in a row. We also saw it against the 49ers. Corner pattern.
Take a look at those game films next year and figure that out. LT along with Thermal Thomas, wondering what would happen in the second half. 12-10 Buffalo. Otis Anderson on the sweep. 3rd and 1, you think he made it? Yeah, he got 24 yards. First down, impressively. 3rd and 13. You hearing this 3rd down number? To Mark Ingram, maybe the play of the game. Look at him. Hustle, bustle, rumble, stumble. First down for the Giants. Another 3rd down situation on 3rd and 4. Play fake. Haas to Cross. Howard Cross is killing the Bills. It's down to the 3. Then on 2nd and goal, Anderson, touchdown, standing up 17-12 Giants. The longest scoring drive in the history of the Super Bowl, 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Bills haven't had the ball yet. Momentum going the Giants' way. On 3rd and 18, Kelly all day found his guys covered deep. Leonard Marshall with the sack. But the Giants aren't in the clear yet because the best all-purpose back in football, Thermal Thomas, looking to warm things up. Blow past Myron Guyton. And on the first play of the 4th quarter, it's a touchdown. The Bills lead 19-17. But the Giants refuse to fold. Haas to the regular tight end Bavaro. Gain of 13. 3rd and goal. Haas. Almost intercepted, batted down by Cornelius Bennett. From there, the 21-yard field goal, Matt Barr, 20-19, the Giants. Minute 42 to go in the game. Thurman Thomas off the left side. And he's down to the Bills' 40-yard line. The Bills cross midfield. Kelly doesn't really zip it. McKellar scoops it off the ground down to the 40 of the Giants. Then Thurman Thomas cuts down to the 30. It's going to be a long one, but Scott Norwood has made 47-yard field goals before. The snap, the ball is down, it's up, it's no good. No good. With seconds to go, Norwood and the Bills slide left. The Giants, the Bills are in shock. Pepper Johnson and Bill Parcells' hug says it all. Marv's frustration, LT's elation. Super Bowl 25. Was there ever a better one? We doubt it. The Giants 20, the Buffalo Bills 19. The MVP in the game, O.J. Anderson. Thurman Thomas had 135 yards for the Buffalo Bills, but O.J. Anderson was the MVP because of his churning up. Also a 100-yard game. O.J. Anderson had 102 yards rushing on 21 carries for the Giants. It was so exciting you could hear that my voice has gone south. Let's face it, Tommy, the Giants had a lot of goals tonight. I think they got every one.
Chris, I think that any time you go into a game defensively, you have a number that you're shooting at as far as holding your opponent down. A high-powered Bills offense, I think the Giants wanted to hold them under 20. Hats off to Bill Belichick and Parcells for coming up with a great defensive game plan and for the defense carrying it out.
Well, Tommy, offensively, I think you got to give an awful lot of credit to Ron Earhart and his group. They put in Dave Meggett, just like they did against the 49ers early in the game. You got to realize there's a lot of energy and a lot of adrenaline flowing through those Buffalo Bill defensive guys. You know they're going to be tired, so they chase little Meggett around. Then all of a sudden they throw in O.J. Anderson, and he pounds and pounds and pounds. Bang! All of a sudden he winds up gaining a lot of yards, controlling the clock. Exactly what they wanted to do.
You know, when we looked at those highlights, you kept hearing me say, 3rd down, Giants convert. You know, there are a lot of statistics you could throw out the window when you look at football games. Sometimes even time of possession, although not in this game, turns out to be insignificant. 3rd down conversions, the Giants 9 of 16. The Bills 1 for 8. If you want to look at some numbers, that's certainly one that you might look at as far as this game is concerned.
I burn with desire each time my heart fans the fire to that old flame that burns inside of me. 'Cause nobody in his right mind would have left her. Even my heart was small.
The music of George Strait, brought to you by Bud Light. Prodigy makes your PC a powerful tool.
You wouldn't believe the number of uses that it has.
I do my shopping at home. I do my banking at home.
I don't have to wait in the line.
I like that part.
Now, how can you beat that? The kids are having fun and they're learning.
My son sent me flowers through Prodigy.
So I can be my own travel agent.
I can use Prodigy for my investments as well.
Prodigy is the online service that connects your computer to news, shopping, sports, and now an encyclopedia. All for only $12.95 per month.
You gotta get this thing.
You gotta get this thing.
Prodigy.
It's in stores everywhere.
Why should I have to wait a week for my dealer to fix my brakes just because I own a foreign car?
For foreign car brakes, Midas gets the job done right and right away.
I wouldn't settle for anything less than the right parts.
Midas stocks the right brake parts for practically every foreign car.
So I went to Midas.
Midas brake technicians are trained experts. That's why we guarantee every brake shoe and pad for as long as you own your foreign car. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Hey, Mrs. Susan Amato of Teaneck, New Jersey writes, I really want a Volkswagen Jetta, but what exactly does Fahrvergnügen look like? Well, Mrs. Amato, did you see it? Fahrvergnügen. It's what makes a car, a Volkswagen.
NFL Primetime from the Super Bowl is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. By Prodigy, the online service that connects your personal computer to a world of information and services. And by Midas, for mufflers, brakes, and shocks, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime here in Tampa, where the New York Giants are the champions of the National Football League, winning the Vince Lombardi Trophy, beating the Buffalo Bills in scintillating fashion at Tampa Stadium, the Big Sombrero, 20-19. Giants, for the second straight week, winning at the gun. One on a made field goal, one on a missed field goal by their opponents. Afterwards, they told our Dan Patrick, elation.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Hard fought on both sides. We came out on top. I tip my hat to these guys. They played us nip and tuck the whole way.
What are you thinking of those last 8 seconds?
I had confidence we were going to win it. I really did.
It's a great feeling, eh? Last week we had to make the kick. This week we were hoping for the miss. I hate for it to come down to one play like I did last week and this week. But it's a sweet win either way. It's a great ball game. Great ball game.
Big word is defense. You're a big part of it.
Well, thank you. We played our hearts out. The guys made plays when I had to. Super Bowl 25, the silver anniversary, New York Giants. Take care, baby.
No, I knew I'd last the whole game. Just depended on how well I saw. But no, I took a couple hits and you know, those wore off, and our offensive line did a real good job protecting me and got things together, and you know, we were able to control the ball and move it real well.
Doing some of those interviews, we've elevated our associate producer Craig Mortale to the role of reporter, getting a lot of that on-field reaction from the New York Giants. Afterwards, Dan Patrick visited with the man that won, for the first time it's been called, the Pete Rozelle Trophy, emblematic of the MVP in the Super Bowl, O.J. Anderson. Dan?
All right, Chris, thanks. With the MVP, you don't seem thrilled, though, after the game.
Well, when is it?
MVP?
Yeah.
I'm cutting in everything.
That's all right, Pep. You can, Pep, anytime you want to. Because everybody looking at me and my running and what I did, but that was just minor, you know. The offensive line did all the work. They made the holes for me. You could have put Megan back there. He ran very well. Or you could have put Lewis back there, Mark, anyone back there. I can't say it was real easy, but the offensive line just did a superb job. So I just ran behind him, that's all.
Yeah, but this is redemption for you. You know that everybody's been writing you off for a couple of years now.
And they're going to continue to write me off. I'm going to be playing B again, but who cares, you know? I'm just going to enjoy this moment, you know? I'm MVP. I'm one of the few guys in an elite group of guys, you know. I mean, the Montanos, the Marcus Allen, and the Rice one. I don't know, but hey, I'm one of them now, so Phil Sims was one. I feel good to be in that group.
But you're not thrilled, though, it doesn't seem like.
I don't have to be thrilled. I mean, it's a team win. That's why I'm not as thrilled. they work hard for this, not just me. I mean, I was just putting icing on the cake, but the cake was baked a long time ago.
Wait, final question. You said you'd be MVP if you were the featured back in an offense.
I said it a long time ago when I first got in the league. I said it to my roommate, Ken Johnson. I said when I went to St. Louis, I said if we ever played in the Super Bowl, I was the featured back. I would win MVP. I was a rookie. I was just talking. And just the other day, we had a meeting. I was sitting out with Megan and Lewis and Maurice, and we saw it. I was saying to them, I said, you know what, man? I said if I was in the Super Bowl, I was featured back, I'll win MVP. And they looked at me like, yeah, right, you know. and they got just reason to, because I knew that we would be spending time, myself, Megan and Lee and Maurice and Lewis, so I didn't think I would win. I mean, I was just mouthing off. And matter of fact, my position coach, Ray Hanley, had a meeting. He said to us, to me and a lot of the guys, he said, we're going to have a team effort. We're going to go out and work. And he said, I don't know whether or not any of you guys are thinking about winning MVP, but it's going to be a team effort, and the MVP should be the whole team. And then Lewis looked at me because he knew I said a few hours before that if I had a chance to win MVP, I was going to win it. So he looked at me and started laughing. I said, well, Lewis, I mean, at the time I said I was just talking. I didn't think it would be reality.
Thank you.
He's talking faster than he ran today. You know, usually the juice in football means O.J. Simpson. Tonight, the juice was the MVP, O.J. Anderson.
You know, Chris, I've spent a lot of time with him during the course of the season. Two things he's told me. One, when he comes out of the huddle or gets in the huddle with his offensive line, if they're not sure what the play is, he says, get a push. I'll find the hole. He did a great job of doing that today. The other thing, at Media Day, he said, nobody remembers that I scored the last TD in Super Bowl 21 for the Giants. I don't think we will soon forget his play in Super Bowl 25.
No, Tommy, you're really right. And the other thing is what Gary Reason said, which really stuck out in my mind, is he said there were a lot of guys that made a lot of different plays, and O.J. really capsuled it so very well. This was not one man's victory. This was an entire football team, an entire organization that believed in a philosophy that carried it on to victory. The philosophy was play great defense, run the football, and you'll come out on top.
You know, one thing we talked about this morning on game day was the fact that the way both teams came into this game and the fact that there was no week off and the way that they practiced this week, that it would be a very crisp ball game. And that's exactly what we had today, really, on both sides of the ball, right, Tommy?
Yes, we did, because I thought the other thing, and more important for the Giants maybe than the Bills, I thought they had to play pretty mistake-proof ball. Maybe you could afford one turnover. They came up with none, and hats off also to the Bills for playing virtually a mistake-proof ball game.
You know, Tommy, I know O.J. Anderson was the MVP, but the thing that stuck out to me was Jeff Hostetler. Here's a guy who's a backup. We talked about it earlier in game day. Never has a backup as a starter won the championship. He did. He was 22. He was 20 for 32, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, but he went through a struggle in the second quarter and bounced back. I mean, the guy showed nothing but character out there.
I like to make an observation, and we talked about it at the ball game and right after the game, too. First of all, a 47-yard field goal is no chip shot. So, I mean, Scott Norwood, how could he miss a field goal like that? Wait a minute, that's very long. But I watched very carefully before the game, and Norwood was kicking to that end of the field. When he got out to, I saw him kick a couple of 46-yarders. He missed a couple of them to the left. Figured that the ball was on the right hash mark, the hook would work perfectly. He might have thought about it. He might have now. Didn't ask him afterwards. He might have thought about those hooks in practice, kicked it straight on right up the right hash mark, didn't hook it all, went outside right. So the Giants have now won the championship game on a made field goal. They win the Super Bowl on a missed field goal by their opponents. You might say lucky. Either one could have gone the other way. Yeah. But to quote an old saying, the Giants did it the old-fashioned way. They earned both games. We'll be back with more from here in Tampa. And also check in with Bob Lee, north in Bristol at the Sports Center for the rest of the day in news. We talked about the third down conversions before. 9 of 16 for the Giants, 1 of 8 for the Buffalo Bills. There it is in a nutshell. They found the P under the shell.
We went to the fight capital of the world and asked the fans, who's the greatest heavyweight ever?
By far, it's Muhammad Ali.
Ripping punches, Muhammad Ali. Who's the heavyweight champion of the world?
Sports Illustrated presents Muhammad Ali, the video. It's free with your paid subscription to SI.
It brought back memories, things I'd seen and hadn't seen. Palavino. God's former Joe Frazier. He float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Morning goes down like a tree stuck by lightning.
And the Muhammad Ali video is free.
How can it be free?
It's free when you subscribe to Sports Illustrated. Save over 50% off the cover price.
Kind of like Muhammad Ali, it gives you everything.
You'll get 23 issues, including the baseball preview and the swimsuit issue for 3 monthly installments of only $9.89. Or you can pay by credit card.
This is Ali at his very best.
People who never had seen Ali would love this tape.
You can't walk away from this tape without being a Muhammad Ali fan.
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man.
Call our toll-free number now and get knockout savings on Sports Illustrated and get the Muhammad Ali video free.
I took up the world.
St. John's faces Dikembe Mutombo and Georgetown. Then Duke simply wrapped Georgia Tech in an early season clash. Now Kenny Anderson is ready for payback time. Wednesday night, live on ESPN.
They said we couldn't do it. We did it. We did it. Defense, of course. Good defense and offense just giant football. Giant football.
Putting a little pepper on the wound, perhaps. Giants linebacker Pepper Johnson, Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion. The Giants beat the Buffalo Bills 20-19. So a heartbreaking loss for the Bills in their first ever attempt at winning a Super Bowl. But afterwards, they said, you know, it was a heartbreaker, but we wouldn't mind being in this position again.
Well, I guess it wasn't a typical Super Bowl game, but I guess it's typical when I guess the AFC didn't win. So I don't think there's any thing we can smile about. We can regroup and get ready to play the way we've been playing and try to get back here again and win one.
Like they say, you finish second best. That ain't good enough. You know, I wouldn't settle for it.
You'll be back?
I've got to be back. You know, I've worked too hard at this to let it go. You know, it's going to eat at me the whole time, the whole all season, everything, you know. It just eat at me to play that type of game in this type of game, the way I played. I think it was a subpar performance by myself.
Right now, we don't realize the significance of this ball game. We probably do, but we really won't realize it until tonight when it's time to go to sleep, tomorrow when we wake up, next week, and later on down the line.
Bills have learned from defeat before. They lost the playoff game last year to Cleveland, came back more determined, especially after they lost badly week 2 against the Miami Dolphins, determined bickering Bills would be no more. Now they got this far, lost the Super Bowl. We'll see what happens next year. Jim Kelly certainly would like to play a little bit better. He was fine in the Super Bowl, but he only threw for 212 yards and came out not the victor. He spoke with our Andrea Kramer after the game.
Thank you, Chris. Along with Jim Kelly and disappointed locker room, your thoughts when Scott lined up for the field goal?
Well, before the field goal, you know, in our drive, we knew we had to get it to the 30-yard line because we have all the confidence in the world that Scott can make it from 50 and closer. And I had all the confidence that he can put it through the uprights. It's just one of those things that you look at, and I guess it wasn't meant to be.
It seemed that the no-huddle was finally stopped, maybe by just the Giants' tremendous advantage in time of possession. That would finally stifle the no-huddle?
That hurt it. There's any time that you can keep our offense off the field and control like they did the second half, that's exactly what they probably meant to do, and it happened. You can't stay on the sidelines for 10 minutes and expect to come in and do something. But we knew going into the game that when we had the football, we were going to have to score because that's their type of offense. Our type is getting the ball back, going with it, and scoring. And you give them a lot of credit. They came up with the big plays when they had to, and their offense controlled the ball most of the game.
How would you assess your performance? Was it what you would have expected?
Yeah, I just didn't have as many opportunities as I would have liked. You know, there's so in the first half, we had so many opportunities to go score with the football, and we didn't. I guess there were some drop passes, some penalties, some missed calls on my part. I guess everybody contributed, and we stopped ourselves the first half. But you got to give them a lot of credit. They played one heck of a game.
Any consolation, at least in Thurman Thomas's performance, a tremendous performance?
Everybody, I think, played very well. I think the offensive line came through when they had Thurman. You know, Thurman's Thurman. He plays great every week. But it just doesn't take a couple people. It takes all 45 on our team. And this, I think, what it did was give us a good taste of what's to come. And we have a lot to be proud of. I think everybody in Buffalo has a lot to be proud of. And like I said, 50% of our dream was attained. Just have to wait for the other 50, I guess.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the loss. Back to Chris.
All right, Andrea, thank you very much. Jim, gracious in defeat, as all the Bills were, really 7 straight losses now for the AFC. they fall behind if you're keeping count at home. 13 for the NFC, 12 for the AFC in Super Bowls. And Tommy, you've been in that locker room.
Yeah, certainly I have, Chris. You know, I've never been in the Super Bowl and been edged out, but I think that what you have to remember if you're the Bills is that, as Bruce Smith said, it'll be on your mind tomorrow, and it will stay on your mind throughout the course of the offseason. But this is a young ball club, very, very talented, and I have the feeling that they will probably be back in the Super Bowl very soon.
Well, Tommy, you bring up a point. The interesting thing about these guys is they have had an opportunity to play, and there is that future. Both of us that sit here never could come back after a defeat like that. I don't disagree that the Bills might be back. I know a guy who's going to be a big contributing part will be Thurman Thomas. Again, 190 yards of total offense, just not quite enough. But there's one great guy who can take pride in a great contribution, although he doesn't get the ring.
And as we said on game day in the piece we did, the bigger the game, the bigger he comes up, and we keep continuing to see that. For Marv Levy, another heartbreaking loss. He might remember when he was coach of Montreal in the 1975 Grey Cup against Edmonton. Why bring this up, you ask? Well, here are the details. His club was trailing 9-8 at the end of the game. Moved in for a short field goal that would have won the title of the CFL. But his quarterback, who also held for the kick, Jimmy Jones, fumbled the snap. Montreal lost to the Edmonton Eskimos 9-8. That was 1975 season. 15 years later, he coaches in the NFL, loses by 1 point in the Super Bowl. Marv certainly is owed better days than this. When we return on primetime, Bob Lee will check us in on the rest of the day in sports, and we'll be back here at Tampa. More thoughts from the locker rooms, more analysis, key points in the ball game. Looky here, since the merger, 1970, the Giants with their wins over the Bears, the 49ers, and tonight the Buffalo Bills now have the best percentage of anyone since 1970.
All the way live from our home studio. It's Ricky and D. With a new kind of steak for a new kind of cowboy. Kick it, yo, yippee-yi, yo. McDonald's has something big cooking. A grilled steak sandwich with sauteed onions and mushrooms on a sourdough roll. Yo, man, the steak sauce is death. Yeah, mighty fine dining. And mighty filling with McDonald's fries. But you better giddy on up before the grilled steak sandwich is gone. Word up. Always good food. Always good value.
Whenever my brother Tom and his friends had to decide what game to watch on TV, it was a toss-up.
Heads or tails? Heads.
Then Tom got smart.
Very smart!
He got this Magnavox TV with a built-in smart window, so Killer could watch football on the main screen.
Without getting mad when Stork and I check out basketball on the smart window.
You might say Magnavox saved your friendship, Tom.
You could actually say it saved my life.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.